Well, welcome again to John's Media World Extra. Today, that extra is all about Melania Trump. Her big announcement, the fact that she brought up the Epstein files is humorous all by itself, but crazy as well. And we'll get to Trump's reaction and everybody else's reaction in just a few moments. I want to start off with the email that Melania Trump is referring to in her little speech, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. But first, the email revealed to us on MS Now. Let's check that out.
Analysis on what's happening here today. This is the email that's in question. Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E. Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag.
Probably.
You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania.
There you go. That's the email. Just a friendly email, a thank you note. That's all it is. That's what she claims anyway. So why don't we listen this time to Melania's reaction?
I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach.
Especially when you know somebody.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
That's what it sounded
My
like.
polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998.
Just a coincidence, of course.
This initial encounter with my husband is documented in a detail in my book, Melania. The first time I crossed paths with Epstein was in the year 2000 at an event Donald and I attended together. At the time, I had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of his criminal undertakings.
Amazing, all right?
Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now.
Ah, the deep fakes, yes.
Be cautious about what you believe. These images and stories are completely false.
All written down. Okay, so now we know that Melania has no connection whatsoever to Jeffrey Epstein, right? Now, putting this in perspective, I think, let's go to John Fugelsang, who was on Stephanie Miller's show, and I think he kind of wrapped it up the best way possible.
Respect. She flew to a city she doesn't live in and goes to a house she doesn't sleep in and has to pretend to sleep in just to step up to a podium and say she's never been friends with a dead guy, which is always a good sign historically when people just spontaneously deny relationships with sex traffickers with no prompting. It means everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
No one's about to drop anything catastrophic. This is normal. It happens all the time. She went to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, right?
Right.
Like it's the farmer's market. You know, we bumped into each other between the artisanal cheeses booth and the underage sex trafficking booth. This happens, you filthy liberal. It's like she's coming in and her mouth is covered with cookie crumbs and she's got cookie crumbs all over her blouse and she says, I didn't eat the last cookie. And I'm like, well, I wasn't thinking about cookies and I wasn't going to check, but now that you've said it, I guess I need to go inspect the jar, Melania.
I love it. John Fugelsang on Stephanie Miller. Always a great comedian and always to the point. Now, I think this adds a little wrinkle to it. I happen to run across this. This is Michael Wolff back in 2025. He revealed a very shocking revelation in a new book that had just been published. So I want to play this clip for you.
A new book was published yesterday in the US and UK entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. It's by a British journalist by the name of Andrew Lownie. And it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also about his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump. And in fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship with Melania.
All right. Michael Wolff bringing up something that I didn't hear about, and now everybody else has heard about it, including Trump himself, who, by the way, was unaware that this announcement would be made. Now, he is saying that. It's hard to believe, really. This was probably written by somebody else here at the White House. But this is the reaction that Trump had.
We're just getting reports from our partner channel, MS Now, saying that President Trump has told MS Now that he didn't know anything about Melania Trump's statements. So that's to a reporter at MS Now, saying that President Trump says that he didn't know anything about Melania Trump's statements. So another extraordinary twist in this saga.
Yes.
Yeah, that is jaw-dropping, the fact that he didn't know about it, and very surprising given that, as I say, this has been such a political liability, this issue for him. It's plagued him over the last several months, and he's been urging the public to move on, to talk about something else. And then you have his wife apparently secretly making this public statement. And I'm also told that she had a lot of close aides, her own personal advisor in the room, and that even some of her closest aides didn't know quite what she was going to say before she said it. So aside from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, the survivors who were obviously at the heart of this statement, there's an interesting dynamic here emerging about the First Lady's relationship with her husband and about them taking different stances on political issues.
All right. Now let's get to some of the pundits' reactions on this. Let's go to Wisconsin's own Charlie Sykes, who destroyed politics in Wisconsin for many, many years, but he converted. He realizes his mistake, and he's done pretty well after that. Let's listen to his comment.
My sense is that it certainly looks and feels like she kind of went rogue, that, Donald Trump is off doing his other thing, and she's out there, once again raising the Epstein files, which is the last thing that the White House wants to do. And the last thing the congressional Republicans want to have is the First Lady, Melania Trump, saying we need to have hearings and bring the witnesses in and put them under oath, which is exactly what Democrats on that committee have been pushing to do. So the next question is, let's turn the cameras on Congress, turn the cameras on the Republicans in Congress, saying, do you agree with Melania Trump about the need for more investigations? And as you pointed out, this comes just a couple of days after the new acting Attorney General Todd Blanche basically said, yeah, we're done with this. We're not going to be doing anything whatsoever. So that part of her statement, probably is going to have, significant, it's going to rattle people on Capitol Hill, as well it should. But what an extraordinary, strange episode in an administration where we've had a lot of weird things happen. This really sort of stands out on its own, doesn't it?
Yep, it sure does. That's Charlie Sykes on MS Now's Deadline. Bottom line in it, essentially. Now, Fox News, which is the propaganda network for Trump, our malignant narcissist and madman in the White House, they were completely stumped why they never got a heads up from Trump that any of this was going to happen. Welcome to getting blindsided by your own MAGAs. This is really, truly a fun video clip to watch. Check it out.
This came out of left field for us here covering the White House. The press shop did not give us any insight into what this announcement would be about. That's typical. Oftentimes, the First Lady doesn't share a lot of details with the White House communications shop that covers the president on what her announcements might be. We didn't, for instance, get a lot of details ahead of her prior announcement on her efforts bringing home Ukrainian children. But similarly, we had no heads up on this. We're not getting any information from them now, including whether or not the president was aware she would be making this statement. It's unclear to us if she is reacting to something or that's already happened, already come out, or getting ahead of a story that might be about to drop. We don't really know. And the content of what she's calling for, this congressional hearing to allow the victims to openly testify about what they witnessed, is new, and it will certainly breathe new life into this story that has, in large part, not been at the top of the news cycle lately. The attention here has been on other matters. Because you didn't know. So this brings the sort of public interest back to the Epstein story.
Yes, it does. They appeared to be caught in the headlights in this one, which is fun to see. Now, in just a moment, I want to get to a news source that we normally never, ever go to. All right, InfoWars. We have had InfoWars on only once, and that was yesterday. Now, we're going back to them again, and Alex Jones had commentary in his car, where you like to talk to yourself an awful lot, I would assume. This is entertaining stuff. Let's listen.
It's done. But at the end of the day, I just feel sorry for him and pray that God touch his heart and soul and free him from the demonic influences that he's under. It's just that simple. This is a nightmare. We know the Democrats, the left, are absolutely terrible. But when Trump's calling for wiping out whole civilizations and acting like a supervillain, I have to come out and say I don't support it. Yeah. It's that simple. So again, Trump's own wife came out in an unannounced press conference today and said the Epstein crimes are real and that she wants the victims to be in front of Congress and the cover up to end. That's the opposite of what Trump's saying. Looks to me like she's breaking with Trump because she knows the ship's sinking, has found out the truth. Elon left 8 months ago saying he's in the files as a cover up. I never saw any evidence of it, but he's acting like he's guilty. We know he's protecting Howard Lutnick, who said he didn't know Epstein didn't go to the island, and he did. So all I can say is this is a terrible day, and it's a nightmare for America and the world, but I'm going to tell the truth, reporting the facts, no matter what it is.
It's not a nightmare for the rest of the world. It's a nightmare for the administration. And of course, Alex Jones is a little surprised, very disappointed in the administration at this point. All right, now let's go to CNN. Harry Hinton is going to tell us all about the problem that Melania is having with her popularity in this country. Let's check it out.
Would say that the American people really don't care for Melania Trump. Take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at Melania Trump's net favorable ratings. Look at this. The lowest ever. The lowest ever. We're talking about now 12 points underwater. If you go back a little bit more than a year ago, she was 3 points above water. You go back at this point, about this point in term number one for Donald Trump. Look at that. She was 30 points above water. So at this point, historic lows for Melania Trump. These numbers are absolutely awful.
One of the questions is why the shift now? But also, I guess, you need to look at this always in the historical context of how does she line up against other first ladies?
Yeah, okay. If we look at this historically, the worst ever at this point in term number two. Look at this. We got her at 12 points underwater. Look at the rest of these first ladies on the board right here. Yeah. They're all way above water. 42 points above water for Michelle Obama, 46 above water for Laura Bush, 25 points above water for Hillary Clinton, who was not always the most popular, and 50 points above water for Nancy Reagan. And I even looked at Joe Biden's numbers at this point in that presidency. Of course, that was term one. She was above water as well. So this is the worst at this point in a presidency as well. Melania Trump breaking records in the way that you don't want to break records historically awful she is. The American people really don't care for her.
And you also, I'm seeing you have new numbers or another look at the impact or the appeal that her appeal after her documentary came out.
Yeah, okay. So you asked in question number one, you said, why? What is one of the reasons why? And I think one of the reasons why was this documentary. I think a lot of people saw it as political, even if she didn't want it to be. And you could just see it here. This is real world data. This is not just the polling data that shows the lack of appeal, historic lack of appeal that she has for a first lady. Look at this. Some of Melania's budget sheet. Look at this. The budget, rights and marketing, $75 million. That was what is estimated to have been spent by Amazon. Compare that to the box office, both domestic and international combined. We're talking about $17 million. That makes this a bomb. There was a lot of talk when the film came out. Hey, you know, it had a good opening weekend. But then basically it stopped making money. So unless Amazon is able to make this up through streaming, this is going to be a historic bomb. Amazon spent a ton of money on it. And look at that. Simply put, the money was not made back. That coalesces, that combines with the polling data to say that Melania Trump is historically unpopular for a first lady.
Oh,
it's not good.
Good to see her.
It is not good. All right, now I've got one more fun clip that somebody put together.
Don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth. I call on Congress to provide the women
to keep talking about it
who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors.
Fake news, of course.
Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
All right. And that's Melania Trump making the big announcement and wrapping it up and saying, let's keep talking about it and have hearings and get it on the record. Why not? Completely opposite of what Trump is looking forward to and trying to tell the public in the fake news media. Well, all right. I have a final comment in just a moment. I got a interesting text the other day, and I want to kind of pass it along to you. This is what it said, in quotes now. John, please complete the 2026 citizens-only census. It's what President Trump would want. So here we have the 2026 citizens-only census. Now, I am a former census taker. I work for the federal government. I worked for, well, I don't want to even tell you. But anyway, I worked at the Census Bureau. I'm recently detached from that. But I was there when they tried to take immigrants off the census. They wanted to ask the question, are you a citizen, and take them away from the census. That didn't work out. It didn't go well in the courts. You can't do that. The Constitution is clear that everybody gets counted that's in this country, citizen or not. You get counted. That's the point. Now, they sent me a text saying, well, you can fill out this 2026 citizens-only census. How many people got this text? Not going to be everybody in the country that's a citizen, I'm sure, right? So it can't really mean anything. I think they're just digging for my information. But the other part that was really unsettling for me, and really the part I want to focus in on, is the last part of this comment. It's what President Trump would want. That's an interesting setup. So when Trump is gone, we'll be required to do other unspeakable nationalistic things because it's what Trump would want. Right? They'll follow everything up with, this is what Trump would want. I swear that's coming. Now, let's turn in your neighbor. That's what Trump would want. It's bad. And this gets me back to the question I asked just recently. What are we going to do with all of the mega followers out there who are all programmed to act like mini Trumps? Their judge, jury, and executioner out there in the public, waiting to turn everybody in because it's what President Trump would want. Something to think about. They're not going away, and they're not going to stop being megas once Trump is gone. Not a pleasant thought. Well, thanks for joining me today. This has been a special extra edition, Melania Trump edition of Media World.